Hi friends, this video will discuss how pro-life activists operate in the game of corruption, Trump-Musk game of corruption. The objectives of Trump and Musk to accumulate wealth conflict with the average citizen, pushing back against manipulation, fraud, and corporate games that disadvantage them. Trump will focus on reforms benefiting the wealthy, and Musk will be benefiting from public support and resources as the corporate welfare king. Their actions will prioritize the interests of the rich and powerful over the welfare of everyday citizens. The players will be Trump, Musk, the politicians as facilitators, and the American public, the pawns trying to survive the game while being manipulated through policies and misinformation and wealth inequality. Here's how pro-life activists would operate in the Trump-Musk game of corruption. In the corruption game, pro-life activists play a significant role by mobilizing a powerful social movement that seeks to restrict abortion rights and impose their moral and religious views on public policy. Their influence often intersects with the agendas of Christian nationalists, conservative politicians, and corporate interests that exploit the issue of abortion for political and financial gain. In this game, pro-life activists can be both pawns in a larger system of corruption and agents who contribute to undermining democratic processes by pushing for policies that limit individual freedoms and weaken reproductive rights. The first section of gameplay of pro-life activists in the Trump-Musk game of corruption is mobilizing the base, the moral mandate. Pro-life activists are able to rally a large voter base by framing the abortion issue as a moral battle that requires urgent action. By focusing on the moral righteousness of their cause, they create a strong emotional appeal that mobilizes supporters to vote for politicians who promise to restrict abortion access and impose more stringent laws. Continue with Section 1 of gameplay for pro-life activists. Mobilizing the base, the moral mandate. Voter influence. Pro-life activists target swing voters who are passionate about preserving traditional values, and they help shift the political narrative toward restricting abortion and undermining women's rights. This alignment with conservative politicians creates an environment where corrupt political figures can leverage the pro-life platform to stay in power. In the minigame, by playing the moral mandate card, pro-life activists can boost the power of corrupt political figures like Trump or other authoritarian leaders by using the abortion issue to rally voters to their side. This gives these corrupt leaders the moral cover to enact authoritarian policies, often without facing much public resistance. The second section of gameplay of pro-life activists is securing political influence, the legislative war. Pro-life activists work to pass laws that restrict abortion access and undermine reproductive rights, often pushing for policies that align with their religious or ideological views. They also pressure lawmakers to defund organizations like Planned Parenthood and other reproductive health services. Continue with the second section of gameplay for pro-life activists. Securing political influence, the legislative war. Creating a legal framework by supporting anti-abortion candidates and pushing for state-level bans and restrictions, pro-life activists can reshape the legal landscape to make it harder for people to access safe and legal abortions, further entrenching conservative values in the legal system. This can lead to states with no abortion access, allowing pro-life agendas to become more deeply embedded in law, often with help from corrupt leaders who are happy to support these policies to maintain power and gain favor with the religious right. In the minigame, through the legislative war card, pro-life activists can push for laws that limit abortion rights, such as heartbeat pills, waiting periods, or defunding reproductive health organizations. These policies undermine personal freedoms and create an environment where corruption is allowed to flourish, because these social battles become the focus of public discourse, sidelining real issues like corruption and economic justice. Section 3 of Gameplay of Pro-Life Activists. Exploiting the abortion issue for political gain, the political pawn. In the corruption game, pro-life activists may be manipulated by corrupt political figures like Trump, Musk, or other right-wing leaders who use the abortion issue to galvanize their base and secure votes. Pro-life activists become pawns in a game where the political elites co-opt their cause to maintain power and divert attention from other corrupt practices. Continue with Section 3, exploiting the abortion issue for political gain, the political pawn. Leveraging the abortion debate. By framing the abortion issue as the centerpiece of their campaign, corrupt leaders can distract the public from real corruption, financial fraud, corporate malfeasance, or lack of accountability. Pro-life activists may unwittingly support candidates who undermine democracy, using their cause as a distraction while enabling policies that further entrench corruption. In the minigame, by activating the political pawn card, pro-life activists are exploited by corrupt figures who make empty promises to advance anti-abortion laws, while actively protecting their own power, avoiding accountability, and allowing corruption to continue unchecked. Section 4 of Gameplay of Pro-Life Activists in the Trump-Musk Game of Corruption. Disrupting access to health care. The health crisis. By pushing for anti-abortion laws that restrict access to reproductive health services, pro-life activists contribute to a healthcare crisis, particularly for low-income women and marginalized communities. They cut off vital health resources that go beyond abortion, like birth control, sex education, and maternal care. This has disastrous consequences for women's health and undermines public health systems. Continue with Section 4, Disrupting Access to Healthcare, the Health Crisis. Harming public health. By lobbying for the defunding of Planned Parenthood and similar organizations, pro-life activists create a healthcare gap where women are denied access to important services. In the game, this leads to health crisis that disproportionately affects the poor and vulnerable populations, creating an opportunity for corrupt actors to profit from this lack of healthcare access. In the minigame, the health crisis card can be played to eliminate access to reproductive health services, resulting in higher rates of unsafe abortions, poor maternal care, and worse public health outcomes. This disempowers communities while benefiting corrupt corporate interests that profit from medical neglect and insurance schemes. Section 5 of Gameplay of Pro-Life Activists in the Trump-Musk Game of Corruption. Diverting focus from real issues, the culture war distraction. By framing abortion as the primary social issue, pro-life activists contribute to the culture war that divides the public and distracts from issues like economic inequality, environmental destruction, and political corruption. This division serves the interests of corrupt political figures who can maintain power by keeping the electorate divided on social issues rather than focusing on their own corruption. Continue with Section 5 of Gameplay of Pro-Life Activists. Diverting focus from real issues, the culture war distraction. Fostering division. In the game, the culture war, including abortion, becomes a distraction that diverts attention from the real issues of corruption, corporate malfeasance, and government accountability. Pro-life activists, while pushing a legitimate moral issue, inadvertently help corrupt leaders retain control by keeping the public's focus on polarizing issues instead of the corruption in government and business. In the minigame, playing the culture war distraction card allows pro-life activists to create a false dichotomy that pits people against each other on issues like abortion, while the real issues of corruption, examples, corporate influence, voter suppression, and fraud, remain unchallenged. The Endgame. Pro-life activists, while driven by a genuine moral cause, are manipulated and exploited in the corruption game to support an agenda that undermines individual freedoms, disrupts healthcare, and creates a divided society that benefits corrupt political leaders. Their role in the game includes: first, mobilizing voters. They rally a significant voter base to support corrupt leaders who promise to restrict abortion rights while avoiding accountability on issues like financial corruption and democratic erosion. Second, pushing for restrictive laws. They help pass anti-abortion laws and defund organizations that provide essential health care, exacerbating a public health crisis that disproportionately impacts marginalized communities. Third, supporting authoritarian leaders. They become pawns in a larger corruption game, where authoritarian leaders exploit the issue of abortion to consolidate power, push for anti-democratic policies, and maintain their grip on government. Fourth, dividing the public. By focusing the public discourse on culture war issues, pro-life activists contribute to polarization, ensuring that the real corruption and abuses of power remain hidden or ignored. In conclusion, while pro-life activists are often motivated by moral convictions, their influence in the corruption game often contributes to undemocratic practices and policy corruption, particularly when exploited by political elites seeking to preserve power and distract from more pressing issues of corruption and accountability.